when the rain finally stopped. In a quiet street in Manchester, where the rain seemed to fall more often than not, lived a man named Daniel Carter. Daniel was not old, but life had already worn him down. At 38, he had lost his job, his marriage, and most of his confidence. His days blended into one another: wake up, stare at the ceiling, boil water for tea, and sit by the window watching strangers hurry past in the rain. He often wondered how life had slipped so far from what he once imagined. Every morning, Daniel visited the same small cafe down the road. He always ordered the same thing: tea. No sugar. He always sat by the window. And he always left without speaking much. Until one day, something changed. Rough morning? Daniel looked up, surprised. The voice belonged to a woman about his age, standing beside his table with a gentle smile. Her name was Grace. She worked at the cafe. Daniel hesitated. They're all the same, really? Grace nodded. That can be
the hardest kind. From that day on, she spoke to him, just a few words each morning. Nothing dramatic. Just small conversations about the weather, the news, or the football scores. But somehow, it mattered. Football small moments, big shifts. Weeks passed. The rain didn't stop. But something inside Daniel began to shift. He started arriving earlier. He stayed a little longer. He even smiled, once or twice. One morning, Grace placed his tea in front of him and said, "You weren't here yesterday." Daniel looked down. Didn't feel like getting out of bed. She paused, then said quietly, "I'm glad you came today." It was such a small sentence. But it stayed with him all day. That evening, Daniel walked home in the rain, but for once, he didn't rush. He thought about his life. His failed marriage. The job he lost. The way he had slowly given up. For the first time, he asked himself a different question. What if this isn't the end?
The next week, Daniel did something he hadn't done in months. He updated his CV. It wasn't perfect. He didn't feel confident. But he sent it out anyway. One application. Then another. Then another. Telephone receiver the call. Days passed. Then one afternoon, his phone rang. "Hello, is this Daniel Carter?" His heart raced. "Yes. We'd like to invite you for an interview." The morning of the interview, it rained heavily, as always. Daniel stood at his door, hesitating. Old doubts crept in. What if I fail again? But then he remembered Grace's voice. "I'm glad you came today." He took a deep breath and stepped out into the rain. Months later, Daniel sat in the same cafe. Same seat. Same tea. But this time, everything felt different. He had a new job. A routine. A sense of direction. Grace walked over, smiling. "You look better," she said. Daniel nodded. "I feel better." He paused, then added, "Funny thing is, nothing changed overnight." Grace smiled knowingly. It never does. As Daniel stepped outside, he noticed something unusual. The rain had stopped. For the first time in a long while. The sky was clear. Life lesson. Life doesn't change in big moments, it changes in small ones. A single kind word can shift someone's entire path. Starting again is always possible, no matter how late it feels.